we get into it, I want your take. Did this crisis in the WNBA explode because of inconsistent officiating, leadership that stopped listening, or a failure to protect the league's biggest stars like Caitlin Clark? Share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for more in-depth women's basketball coverage, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our reporting on the WNBA, player leadership, and the next moves from league headquarters. A storm that started with frustration over officiating has turned into a full-scale showdown over leadership, communication, and respect. What looked like another heated news cycle now feels like a reckoning. It began with Minnesota Lynx star Napheesa Collier, who sat down for what should have been a routine exit interview and instead delivered one of the most pointed critiques of league leadership in recent memory. Within hours, Phoenix Mercury guard Sophie Cunningham and Indiana Fever guard Lexi Hull added their voices, publicly, forcefully, and without euphemisms. By the end of the day, the WNBA wasn't talking about playoff matchups. It was talking about the commissioner's office. The target of the criticism is WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. For weeks, players, coaches, and fans have vented about the season's officiating, uneven whistles, extreme physicality, and a perception that accountability was missing. Fines followed when coaches like Cheryl Reeve, Becky Hammond, and Stephanie White spoke up. Instead of cooling the temperature, the fines convinced many that the league was more interested in policing voices than fixing problems. Then Collier spoke, and the debate shifted from what happens on the floor to who's in the room making decisions. Collier didn't mince words. In a prepared statement, she said the central issue isn't money, ratings, or even the physicality of play. It's the lack of accountability from the league office. She described inconsistency that plagues our sport and undermines the integrity in which it operates. She pointed to a disconnect between what fans see every night, stoppages that don't make sense, missed calls in key moments, and the league's public posture. Year after year, the only thing that remains consistent is the lack of accountability from our leaders, she said. Then came the allegations that set everything on fire. Collier said that during a conversation at the Unrivaled event in February, she asked Engelbert how the league planned to address officiating. The response Collier claims was, "Only the losers complain about the refs." She also said Engelbert told her that players like Caitlin Clark should be grateful for the WNBA platform, implying that without it, Clark wouldn't be making significant money off the court. Collier added a third line that stunned even longtime league observers, that Engelbert told players they should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media. Rights deal. To be precise, those are Collier's assertions. Cathy Engelbert has not publicly confirmed using those phrases, but in the court of public opinion, the damage was done. The quotes spread quickly because they struck a nerve. Whether or not everyone agrees on the solutions, players and fans can agree on one thing: the officiating product has to be consistent, and stars shouldn't be reduced to pawns in a corporate narrative about sustainability. The pushback against the grateful framing was immediate. Clark arrived in the WNBA with a platform no one needed to explain to her. She sold out college arenas. She posted historic TV ratings at Iowa. She signed national NIL deals before she set foot in Indianapolis. To suggest the WNBA created her brand misunderstands the moment. The better way to put it is this: Clark brought a massive audience to the WNBA, and the league gave her a professional stage to grow it. Both realities can be true, but telling a player that her value is owed to the league rather than recognizing the exchange of value was always going to land poorly. Enter Sophie Cunningham. The Mercury guard has never been shy on the floor or off it. She took to Instagram and torched the leadership style she sees from the commissioner's office. "People only know Cathy because of Caitlin," she wrote, calling Engelbert the most delusional leader our league has ever seen, and arguing that the focus should never be on the commissioner in the first place. Cunningham didn't bury her critique in vague language. She put her name on it, knowing full well that speaking that directly about the commissioner usually draws fines. Fans rallied around her within minutes, joking that they'd start a GoFundMe to cover any penalty. The solidarity told its own story. The frustration isn't confined to one market or a handful of stars. Lexi Hull followed, publicly backing Collier and saying she agreed with everything Napheesa said. Hull's voice matters because she isn't known for chasing headlines. She's built her reputation on defense, hustle, and staying out of drama. If a player like that goes public, it means this isn't just a star's agenda. It's widespread exhaustion with how the conversation has been handled. All of this is happening against a larger backdrop. The league is prepared preparing for the next round of CBA negotiations. Players want concrete progress, charter flights, safer travel, better salaries in the early years, and a genuine plan to protect player health. The league's response has leaned on the word sustainability. Teams are growing, but budgets aren't unlimited. That argument might carry more weight if it weren't paired with the promotion of a billion-dollar media rights environment and record interest from sponsors. Fans look at those numbers and ask a fair question. Why does "we can't afford it" only seem to apply to players and not to investment in officiating, travel, or player support? The Cohen's Law of Sports Leadership says the best commissioners know when to be invisible. They work the phones, manage stakeholders, and let the athletes and the games generate the headlines. This season, the opposite happened. Cathy Engelbert has been at the center of too many stories. Sometimes that wasn't her choice, but the net effect is the same. Instead of focusing on Aja Wilson's two-way dominance, Brianna Stewart's consistency, Sabrina Ionescu's shot-making, Aaliyah Boston's post-command, or Angel Reese's disruptive energy, the conversation keeps coming back to leadership and officiating. That's not where a growing league wants to be. It's also impossible to separate this controversy from the rise of Caitlin Clark. Whether or not you believe she has been targeted on the floor, it's undeniable that her games drive the biggest numbers. Attendance spikes, TV audiences, social buzz. When a visible star takes repeated hard fouls without consistent consequences, fans notice. When Indiana's coach Stephanie White gets fined for defending consistency and pointing out what everyone can see, fans perceive a double standard. Coaches and players are punished for speaking. Referees and supervisors are not seen answering in kind. Even if some of that perception is unfair, perception is reality in today's media environment. That's why this debate is no longer just about refereeing mechanics. It's about leadership style. Collier's underlying critique, beyond the lines that made headlines, was simple. The league office has become more concerned with control than collaboration. Players ask for a seat at the table and get talking points. Coaches call for consistency and get fines. Fans raise concerns and get told to stick to the positives. In a sport built on relationships, that's a recipe for resentment. There's another subplot, Unrivaled, the player-led Winter League co-founded by Collier and Brianna Stewart. Critics will say Collier is motivated by competition. Reality is more nuanced. Yes, she has a stake in a rival property, but a rising tide lifts all boats in women's basketball only if the flagship league delivers a product fans trust. When a veteran like Cunningham, who has no stake in Unrivaled, amplifies Collier's points, and when a grinder like Lexi Hull backs them both, it suggests this isn't about market share. It's about the core of the WNBA product. So, what happens next? Start with officiating. The WNBA needs a professionalized, full-time pool of referees with standardized training that mirrors the NBA's. It needs real-time communication protocols so coaches and players know what's being called and why. It needs post-game transparency about reviewed plays and points of emphasis, especially in high-visibility games. Referees aren't the enemy. They're the third team on the floor. When they're supported, trained, and held accountable, everyone wins. Next, rebuild trust with players. That means listening sessions that aren't performative. Create a player advisory group that meets regularly with the commissioner and has genuine input on player safety, travel, and officiating. Stop reflexively finding every critical comment. There's a difference between undermining officials and asking for accountability. Allow for honest feedback paired with clear boundaries. Fans can handle candid conversations if they see action follow. Third, center the stars. Everywhere in professional sports, stars are the engine. The WNBA's growth has been fueled by star power across generations. Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, Candace Parker, Sylvia Fowles, and now Aja Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, Aaliyah Boston, Angel Reese, and Caitlin Clark. Protecting the stars doesn't mean fawning over them. It means ensuring they can play their games without crossing into dangerous physicality. It means marketing them without pitting them against one another. It means remembering that, for new fans, the entry point is often a single player. The league's job is to turn that entry point into a broader love of the sport. There is also the NBA factor. The WNBA's media rights